Excellent job, boys and girls. Oh, grade 3, thank you. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here as we celebrate all of the things that Ms. Davis has done in the last 11 years that she has been a teacher here at BFCCPS. Her daughters have headed up to are on their way up to get her now. And she will be done shortly, so I am going to ask you guys to try to be quiet so that we can clap and say congratulations when she comes in, okay? Just to ask you guys a quick question, what else are we celebrating today? Tonight. What else are we celebrating tonight? Ryan? Our 8th grade graduation. Let's give it a round of applause. They have all worked super hard, and we are all very proud of them. Wow, you guys are doing a great job. It's a very long walk from Miss Davis's classroom down here, apparently. Maybe she got lost. Maybe she went home. Not yet. Nope, that's Mrs. Fairbanks. Oh, here she goes. Nice job, boys and girls. Thank you so much for that warm welcome for Miss Davis. And thank you guys very much for sitting down and getting so quiet so quickly. Welcome, Miss Davis. You said small. It's small. First and second grade aren't here. And we didn't build anything. We just kept her. We kept the throne that she sits in so gracefully at the medieval feast. Boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us. Parents, thank you for joining us. Miss Davis's family, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing her with us over the last 11 years. She's definitely left an indelible mark on BFCCPS. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite imagination, and instill a love of learning. This is something Miss Davis has been doing for the past 11 years. Anyone who has had the privilege of being in her classroom, having her as a teacher, or the experience of being a parent of one of her students knows that Miss Davis is the queen of inspiration. Whether it is preparing cookie dough, scarves, or rainbow loom bracelet businesses, or inspiring students' love of writing by assigning them pen names that some even continue to use well after they graduate from BFCCPS, Susan Davis has the ability to inspire young minds. The impact this educator has left on this school is indelible. Her hard work and dedication to supporting the mission of BFCCPS has continued to strengthen not only our academic program, but the character of the students she works with. From academic assemblies that rival Broadway productions, to funerals for RIP words, Ms. Davis's commitment to excellence in education is clear. She has been an incredible asset to BFCCPS as a teacher, a colleague, and an ardent champion of our mission. Today we gather to celebrate the impact she has had on her students, both past and present, her colleagues, and her friends. So thank you so much, Ms. Davis, for the past 11 years. You are very So anyone who has had Ms. Davis as a teacher or who has attended any of the Leaves in the Forest of Virtue assemblies know that Ms. Davis's leaves are something very special. So today we have Dawn Tappan, the President of the Board of Trustees, to present you with your very own leaf in the Forest of Virtue.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? So I had some prepared statements, but I honestly, as I was watching Mrs. Davis walk in, thought to myself, I don't know what I could possibly say that greeting didn't already say about Mrs. Davis. You have had the most important job in the world, that of a classroom teacher, but you have also been a leader for this community, served as a mentor to your peers, having served as one point at the faculty rep to the Board of Trustees, and what may have been this school's most formative years. I asked around, you gather impressions of a person, but I always like to ask around other people. You know, tell me about Mrs. Davis. Give me one word to describe them. These are some of the words that were repeatedly used. Thoughtful, serious, that came up a couple times, energetic, tireless, comforting, and generous. And I can't think of a better way to be thought of or to be remembered in an institution. The impact that you have had on your students, but understand she's leaving us for hopefully to take a much-deserved break, spend time with the family, travel a bit. Having spoken a little bit with your family before the proceedings today, I understand relax, maybe not so much. So I've heard you've got plans. So but, you know, take it easy a little bit too, and you've certainly earned it. I can't begin to thank you enough for all that you've done to better our students, for all that you've done for our community. Through your dedication, you've bettered the educational experience of not only the students in your classes, but for every student who has walked through these halls. Although you will not be a daily fixture of BFCCPS, I hope you will come back and visit us, as some retiring faculty has done today. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'd like you to present Mrs. Davis with this leaf in the Forest of Virtue, and I'll read it. This leaf from the Forest of Virtue is awarded to Susan Davis for exhibiting justice, temperance, fortitude, and prudence while serving as the 4th grade teacher at the Benjamin Franklin Classical Charter Public School, awarded the 16th day of June, 2014.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tappan. I'm now going to ask the 4th graders to step up because we are going to present Ms. Davis with her retirement survival basket. As many of you know, Ms. Davis loves to sew. So Ms. Davis, just so you know, your assembly today is called So Long, Ms. Davis. You may sense a theme.
your bag of tricks. Your fourth grade class thought it might be nice if you started your retirement with a brand new bag.
You have planted seeds of knowledge, seeds of encouragement, and seeds of creativity in each of us. So
For the past 11 years, you have certainly had your share of fun dips. We got you some fun dip because we think it is important to have fun dips at every stage of life. You have left a lasting and permanent mark on us. Here is a Sharpie so you can continue to leave positive marks on the world.
we got you batteries for your retirement, so you can just keep going and going.
If all else fails and you miss us too much, we got you a 1 free day substitute teacher coupon.
We know you would not like to stay stationary in retirement, but we thought you might want personal stationery to keep in touch with all of us. Enjoy your bag of retirement goodies. Go luck in your adventures to come.
So, am I sewing me needle and thread? What does one think of when Miss Davis's name Carefully, everything nice. She not only helps us during her lunch, which has some candy for us. She also comforted us with lots of practice, not fun, and lots of encouragement. Thank you very much. I think the candy helped most. Recently, we visited Acapulco's, and Miss Davis dressed up as your make-it-your-own taco. And it even had lettuce and tomato. Now that's a cool teacher. And speaking of cool teachers, how many teachers would searching boat and sky's the limit? There's a sad sort of clanging from the clock in the hall, and the bells in the steeple too. And up in the nursery, regretfully they tell us, but firmly they compel us to say goodbye to you. And you know we cannot tell a lie. We cut, we rip, we squint and pretty eye.
How hard could it be? It only involved layering ingredients in mason jars. Piece of cake. Our jars had to be hygienically mass-produced in the limited kitchen area of our school. Never forgotten. It gives me great joy to know that we will have more time with one another for our mutual creative interests. I wish you years of health to undertake your next adventure. Whatever it may be, don't ever let a little mess scare you.
Good morning. I haven't had the privilege of knowing Susan Davis for a long time, like so many. What has made the greatest impact on me, though, is how she is able to take 25 unique students, which I will liken to quilt squares, and create a caring classroom community quilt. And this
Ms. Davis, it has become a tradition for us to end Jack Basili, two former students of Ms. Davis, up to present her with a special gift.
A teacher is a gift far greater than gold, and the memories of you are ones that I will forever hold. You have taught me, inspired me, and helped me through every math problem, open response, and science experiment too. When the story called Magical began to take flight, you were right there helping all day and all night. So thank you, Ms. Davis, for everything you've done to improve my life and education for the many years to come.
Miss Davis, I'll always remember the day that you showed us the egg and the ball experiment. It was spectacular. Our whole class loved practicing and performing our assembly. At first, I wasn't too excited about Project Paragraph, but then it turned out to be fun. Thank you for being my 4th grade teacher. I will never forget you. On behalf of the BFCCPS community, I would like to present you with this memory book capturing some of your time with us.
Ms. Davis, I hope that you have seen today what an incredible impact you have had on our school, and I would like to give you an opportunity to come up and say a few words if you would like.
Thank you to all of you who organized this wonderful assembly that I'm sure I will remember fondly for the rest of my life. There are so many of you that have had a hand in making this day special, and I vow to seek you out and thank you personally. I do know that Deb Schwab and Kathleen Hogan, mother of Thomas, and Bridget Drury, mom of Maggie, were very involved, and thank you Pamela and Judy for your kind remarks. You'll see my amazing family here. My husband Keith and 2 beautiful daughters, Sarah and Stephanie, and my mom, my 5 brothers, and wonderful sisters-in-law here today. I'm so grateful. Thank you. I told them to make faces at me. They're doing a good job. Thank you. And I'm so grateful that they're here because I really want them to get a good sense of this special community of educators, parents, and joyful children that I've been privileged to be a part of for 11 years. And I wanted my students to finally get a glimpse of my husband, Keith, who's tall as Abe Lincoln, my horseback riding daughter, Sarah, who brought a pony to BFCCPS for me one year, my basketball playing daughter, Stephanie, who knows quite a few of the children from BFCCPS from tutoring at Kumon. And yes, there is a cast of characters that have been in my stories over the years about growing up on Cape Cod. Brian, could you wave, because you're the owner of the Blue Jay, BJ, who was snatched by mean old Ben the cat when BJ was still in the prime of life. And they are my other brothers, Bill, Biv, Mark, and Stephen, who buried the cat Ben in the backyard one morning, only to have Ben appear at supper time. So that was a... there are so many people here today who helped me to be a successful teacher. And I hope that I will have an opportunity to thank them all at our BFCCPS staff party next Monday. But I won't see my wonderful parents again at that event. So I wanted to give a very sincere thank you to all of the parents that I've had the pleasure to talk to, conference with, and email with over the past 11 years. Thank you for your faith in my... Thank you for your faith in my funky style, for the thousand ways, small and sometimes very large, you helped me in my classroom, and for your friendship. I felt like I was actually part of the family for some people, the Frangillos, the Youngs, the Hurlitzes, the Durkins, Moches, Pattersons, Cripps, Lees, Brennans, Bernies, and Forsyths, having had 3 or 4 of their children over a pretty short period of years. To all parents, you have been wonderful to work with, and I would love to be neighbors with you in my next life to get to know you better. But now, I would like a chance to talk to my kids, to the students in general, half of whom I spent a year with, and the other half of whom I've seen around for ages. Ever since it was announced that I was retiring, I have had the same question from kids over and over. Why are you leaving? First, I want you to know that I'm not leaving because I'm tired of being with children. Thank you. I have loved being a teacher at BFCCPS. It's the best job I ever had, and God knows I've had a lot. I don't think that I could have had a job where I felt more useful, met more interesting people, all of you, learned more, and laughed more than I could have in this job. Teaching is a cheerful kind of a job. This winter, for example, there were so many dismal, rainy, or snowy Mondays that could have given anyone the blues. But I'd get to school, get my room ready for the day, and then I would hear feet racing down the hall to be the first one in the classroom. This year, the first one might be Mia, who always came in with a loud groan, like, oh. Like her parents had made her clean the house over the weekend, from top to bottom. Or it could be Prem, who would go right to the whiteboard like a rocket and read the morning work out loud. Or it could be Jonathan with a sweet, funny story from the weekend. Or it could be Lucia or Lily with a loud, funny story from the weekend. Or maybe Liam, who would immediately look for a way to be helpful. How could I not smile and just quickly get into my teaching groove? And then, during the day, I got to do so many things that were fun. I got to show kids how to do messy subtraction and long division and watch them laugh when they got a big problem correct. I got to show kids my secret SHA method for comparing fractions with different denominators named after Alex Shaw from my first year of teaching. This year we got excited about using military time to find elapsed time really easily, and we shared the thrill that our easy method wasn't even in the math book. I could discuss good stories like Because of Winn-Dixie and questions like, how can you tell that Miss Franny doesn't think kindly of pinch-faced Amanda Wilkerson? I could share my passion about history and and interesting characters like Charlemagne, and an emperor who liked to bob around in his swimming pool to have important meetings with his, all of the people in his court. We could watch the hard-boiled egg go into the bottle because air pressure pushes it in, and even more fun, try to get the egg out all in one piece. I could watch kids make huge salt dough maps of the United States, which would make me remember my days in school at your age 50 years ago. And I could hear your highlights from the weekend and hear your stories from the day and imagine what it must be like to be a child now. Too many good things to mention. So let's get this straight once and for all. I have loved teaching and talking to you and being around you. So why am I leaving? Well, I'm really looking forward to having a little bit more time to spend with my husband, who travels a lot, my mom, who's moving up here from the Cape, my beautiful daughters and family. For me, teaching has always been a very intense experience, kind of 24/7. I mean, I actually dream about you guys. Yep. Yeah. Did you know that Delana Cimino, Jillian Reynolds, and I drove to Narragansett Beach one day in a convertible. And Delana was driving way too fast. I was late for the Middle Ages feast one year on the Common because Ollie Fernandez and I were lugging the throne that you see there across the Common, and a vegetable platter kept falling off of the seat. Yep, you kids have shown up in my dreams of college classes. You've been right there in my college classes. And you've been in the bus with me on the Sagamore Bridge. You've ripped out bad stitching with me, and you've cut my hair. That was a recent dream. For $192, I'll tell you afterwards who that was. You wouldn't blow it dry. You would refuse to blow it dry. Okay. Of course, the weirdest one of all was when Kobe Frangillo was my dentist. But he was 10 years old, and he had to stand on a chair to work on my teeth. So I have no idea what that was all about. So after I leave, I will be able to relax a little bit more and take things a little more slowly. You know that I love a lot of different things: birds, dogs, history, poetry, quilting, going to yard sales big time, and traveling, just to name a few. I've told my class this year that I will report back to them on the Anne Frank House in Amsterdam, which my husband and I will visit this October, because a lot of them have developed a very keen interest in World War II. But I also want to think about doing something different from being an in-class teacher, but that still involves children. Even when you're a little bit older, like me, it's important to stay young. Retiring from this job will give me a chance to think about another new job. Completely switching careers really worked for me once, and I'm hoping it will work for me again. So, my darling children, what are my messages to you? You've been very loved. Thank you. Again, do it again. Thank you. I have tried to be the best teacher I could be. And I encourage you to think about being teachers one day. It's very, very rewarding. Be interested in lots of different things in your life. It makes life more fun and rewarding and keeps you young. Don't be afraid to share a part of yourself with people. Study hard and consider other people's feelings before you act. Appreciate your family and parents who love you so. And laugh a lot.
Students, I'm going to ask you to quietly have a seat, please. Nice job, 4th grade. Nice job, 3rd grade. Nice job, 7th grade, 8th grade, 6th grade. Nice job, 5th grade. Thank you guys very much. I just wanted to take one more opportunity to thank Miss Davis's family. It is a very difficult job being a teacher. You not only work in the school from 9 to 3 every day, but you take all of that home with you. And it's definitely with the support and the love of a strong family that makes an excellent teacher. So thank you guys so much for your support of Miss Davis, and we are going to miss her very much. Thank you to Mrs. Henderson, Mrs. Bergeson, and Mrs. Dwyer who came to celebrate with us today. We have missed you guys very much, and it is wonderful to see you back in the building, so thank you very much. Miss Davis mentioned it, but I would like to too. Thank you very much to Mrs. Schwab for all that she did to make this celebration everything that it is. Thank you, Mrs. Schwab. And thank you very much to Mrs. Hogan and Mrs. Drury and the other parents of 4D who helped us put together this assembly, and Mr. Benjamin for working with the students on this song. I hope that you've gotten a little bit of a sense of how important you have been to us over the last 11 years and how much we are going to miss you. Thank you. One more round of applause for Ms. Davis, please. We are going to go ahead and start with grades.